Clark and the Indiana Fever open the preseason tomorrow at noon against Washington, but number 22 could be on the bench. The 2024 Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark, is listed as questionable with a left leg injury. Of course, Sunday is Indiana.
Well, here's how you throw your fan base and WNBA fans at large into a collective panic. Caitlin Clark on the injury report, which is exactly what happened as the Indiana Fever put out the report, the status update for the first preseason game against the Washington Mystics.
Caitlin Clark caused quite a stir across the WNBA world with just a blink. Literally. When news broke that she might be injured, Indiana Fever fans nearly hit the panic button. But as it turns out, it was nothing serious, barely even worth worrying about. Now, the real question is, will she suit up for the preseason? And maybe more importantly, is Angel Reese ready for what's coming? Because in just 2 weeks, Caitlin will either be making highlight reel passes or turning heads with her play. One thing's for sure, Chicago Sky should be ready. A serious reality check is on the way.
Caitlin Clark has a lower leg injury, so she probably will not play in the first preseason game tomorrow. That's just breaking news. I don't think it's anything.
Sucks. And sometimes you didn't know, and you just scrolled onto Twitter, and there it is. And there it is. And you're like, wait, what? When did that happen? How did that happen? What? And that could ruin a day.
The internet's been on edge, with fans refreshing the Indiana Fever's updates like it's Game 7 of the finals, or like Taylor Swift just changed tour dates mid-show. And why all the fuss? Because Caitlin Clark, the nation's favorite long-range shooter and a walking ratings boost, gave everyone a little scared. IT only took one small bump and a vague update to send Fever fans into full panic mode. Suddenly, what should have been a routine preseason turned into an emotional roller coaster, more dramatic than a Real Housewives reunion.
Lads, Caitlin Clark is on an injury report. For the first time in her WNBA career, Caitlin Clark is listed on an injury report, lads. Oh my god. Oh my god, lads. She's listed on an injury report, and this is not the end of the world. This is not the end of the world. Not a great thing. Not an ideal thing. You never want to see someone listed on an injury report. That's never a good.
When the Indiana Fever released an official update, sports fans knew what that usually means. Get ready for bad news. And just like that, chaos broke out. Is she okay? Is she injured? Did she twist something? Pull a muscle? Or, worst case scenario, did she stub a toe? Was it something tiny like a hangnail, or are we talking full-blown disaster? Fever fans reacted with the calm of a crowd being told Beyoncé just canceled her Super Bowl halftime show an hour before kickoff. In other words, not calm at all. There was full-on panic, wild guesses, endless Twitter threads, Reddit theories, even people drawing up charts like it was a national emergency. And then, just to be safe, a little more panic on top of that.
Caitlin Clark, the only player on it, listed as questionable with a left leg injury. Now, I've seen a lot of injury reports in my day, and I'll say this. Of course, you get a jump scare when you see Clark's name there, given what she means to the Fever and what she means to the league.
But before anyone starts planning a candlelight vigil outside the field house, let's all take a moment to relax and breathe. The Indiana Fever said Caitlin is being monitored. And let's be honest, in 2025, that could mean just about anything. Maybe they're monitoring her Wi-Fi because no athlete can perform without a solid internet connection. Or maybe they're keeping an eye on her Twitter mentions in case things get a little too spicy. Sure, it could be her ankles they're watching, but let's not forget the real asset under surveillance, her almost supernatural talent for embarrassing defenders. That kind of skill deserves around-the-clock attention, and probably its own security detail.
And I was like, what in the world? Caitlin Clark, questionable for tomorrow with the left leg injury.
Still, the entire WNBA world was holding its breath, and who can blame them? It feels like fans have been waiting forever to finally see Caitlin Clark hit the pro court and do what she does best.
Like, I was very, very worried that we were going to see a a Caitlin Clark missing the game. Like, hope you're right. Kind of feels like an FU to the fans attending the game.
Honestly, it's hard not to take the idea of Caitlin Clark missing preseason, or worse, the season opener, as a bit of a gut punch for fans who've been counting down the days to see her play. After watching her casually sink shots from the logo during her rookie year, it almost feels unfair for fans. Hearing she might sit out is like being told there's no Santa Claus, no Netflix, and no Wi-Fi, all at once. It's basketball blasphemy. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's a full-on meteor lighting up the WNBA sky, and fans have been following her every move like she's leading them to something big. Supporters aren't just excited. They're invested. They've been pacing their living rooms like anxious dads in old sitcoms, checking their phones every few minutes for updates. Even a small injury report sends waves through group chats, Reddit, and Twitter. At this point, it's more than basketball. For many, it's therapy, and Caitlin Clark is the center of it all.
Okay, listen, I've seen the tweet. I'm a little nervous, but I also know what I know about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. I think this questionable is a precaution. She played all through college with injuries, with migraines. She powered through. She got it done. Unless her leg is hanging off or like there's major problems, I don't think there's a world in which Caitlin Clark doesn't actually at least try to play a little.
So when whispers of a possible injury started to spread, the WNBA internet practically exploded. One fan tweeted, in all caps, of course, "What do you mean she's day?" Followed by a flood of crying emojis. ESPN slowed down replays of her last game like it was part of a conspiracy documentary. Over on TikTok, fans turned into full-blown investigators, breaking down every frame of footage, looking for a limp, a wince, even a blink that lasted too long. If Caitlin so much as touched her knee, people were ready to declare a national day of mourning. When the official update finally dropped, not devastating, but serious enough to put her preseason status in question, fans reacted in all kinds of dramatic ways. Some lit virtual candles and posted emotional tribute videos set to Adele ballads. Others morphed into amateur analysts, creating injury timelines and court diagrams with the intensity of military planners. But above all, the real takeaway? Just how deep Caitlin Clark's impact runs. That lingering fear, the big what if, is hanging over the entire season like a shadow. And that alone says everything.
Guys, Caitlin Clark is now listed as questionable for Indiana Fever's first preseason game tomorrow. It feels like injury reports or status updates are all that we're getting right now. There's a couple more players that have been added since the video I posted yesterday as well. Fortunately, Caitlin's just listed as questionable, so it doesn't sound too serious. Maybe if we all say a little prayer tonight, she'll be good to go by tomorrow, and hopefully she's actually good to go by...
Because the thought of a WNBA season starting without Caitlin Clark lighting up the court feels off. Like Broadway without the spotlight. Like Coachella without the headliner. Sure, it could still happen, but it wouldn't feel the same. Caitlin doesn't just play basketball. She is basketball. She's the spark that turns an ordinary game into something unforgettable. Every shot feels like a highlight. Every pass has purpose. Every moment she's on the floor feels bigger than the scoreboard. Until she's officially cleared to return, the entire WNBA fan base will be holding its breath, refreshing updates, reposting clips, and maybe even saying a little prayer. Because with Caitlin Clark, it's never just a game. It's an experience.
I'm self-aware that Caitlin Clark's leg is probably fine. However, I hate an injury report. Doesn't matter the team, doesn't matter the league, doesn't matter. Because sometimes you know your favorite player's hurt, and you know the injury report's coming, and you know their name's going to be on it, and it's still...
Now, let's talk about who should really be sweating over this injury update. Not Caitlin. Not the fans. Not even the trainers trying to wrap her in bubble wrap. No, the real concern should be coming from one very specific person down in Chicago, Angel Reese. Yes, Miss Bayou Barbie herself. And before her fans flood the comments with sassy captions and side-eye emojis, let's be honest, the Chicago Sky's season opener is against, you guessed it, the Indiana Fever. If Caitlin Clark is anywhere near healthy, ankles, knees, all working, Angel Reese could be in serious trouble. We're talking viral highlight reel territory, and not in a good way. These two already have a bit of history, or as much beef as two media-trained college stars can have before their agents step in. But this matchup? This one's about to feel like the WNBA's version of McGregor versus Mayweather. Only this time, one of them actually plays defense.
Yeah, right. It's not a definite she's out. All right. So nothing to panic about, but it did catch my eye. I was like, what in the world? I thought it was a prank. I thought this was a prank, man. I was like, nah, man, this is not real right now. This is not real. But apparently, yeah, man, it's real. This came from the real account.
So, now Angel's got a real problem. Her team isn't starting the season with an easy warm-up or a charity scrimmage. No, they're opening up against Caitlin Clark. And if Caitlin's healthy, she's got 3 things on her mind: draining threes from half court, snatching ankles, and taking Angel's pride along for the ride. And if you think Caitlin's forgotten all the looks, the comments, or the TikTok dances Angel has used to steal the spotlight, well, you clearly haven't watched Caitlin in revenge mode. She plays petty like it's her job. She remembers everything. She just waits, smirking, with her shot ready to go. Now, imagine the nightmare for Angel and the Chicago Sky if Caitlin actually steps onto that court in 2 weeks, healthy and ready to dominate. If she does, it won't just be a game. It'll be a massacre. Chicago better start preparing now, run extra drills, call in the Avengers, maybe even offer bribes. Because if Caitlin's 100%, she's not showing up to play nice. She's showing up to make a statement. Hello, I'm the WNBA now kind of statement. And as for Angel, well, she might want to grab some sage and a lucky rabbit's foot.